What is 5-minute reflection rituals? Hi, I hope you're doing well. Today, as usual, you will join Your Motivation University with the usual intimacy. Today we are talking about 5-minute reflection rituals. We hope to reveal many very important and wonderful facts about 5-minute reflection rituals in this video. We invite you to stay with Your Motivation University until the last few seconds of this special video. In today's fast-paced world, finding time for personal growth often seems impossible amid endless responsibilities and distractions. Yet what if just 5 minutes daily could fundamentally transform your self-awareness, identity development, and motivation? This comprehensive exploration reveals how brief, intentional reflection rituals can create profound shifts in your life, breaking the cycle of autopilot living while fostering deeper connection with your authentic self. 5-minute reflection rituals represent a powerful yet accessible gateway to self-discovery, creating ripple effects that extend far beyond the practice itself into every domain of your existence. Many of us mistakenly believe that personal transformation requires major time commitments or dramatic life changes. While ambitious efforts certainly have their place, authentic and lasting change often begins with something much smaller and more sustainable: the humble 5-minute ritual. When you engage in a brief daily reflection practice, you're initiating what psychologists call small shifts, minor adjustments that compound over time to create significant transformation. These small, mindful moments begin to stack up, gradually rewiring your mind and redefining your day. The beauty of these micro practices lies in their accessibility. Even the busiest schedule can accommodate 5 minutes of intentional reflection. Time constraints represent one of the most common barriers to personal growth initiatives. However, studies in psychology consistently show that short, focused habits yield higher success rates precisely because they're sustainable and consistent. A 5-minute ritual doesn't overwhelm or intimidate, it feels achievable even on your most demanding days. This accessibility dramatically increases your odds of maintaining the practice long enough to experience its benefits. Consider this daily practice as an investment in your self-relationship. When you sit down each morning or evening, clearing your mind and dedicating 5 minutes solely to self-connection, you're reclaiming time that might otherwise be lost to mindless scrolling or reactive thinking. This simple act sends a powerful message to yourself. You are worth investing in. Over time, this self-valuing stance creates a foundation for authentic motivation that external pressure or fleeting inspiration simply cannot match. Self-awareness serves as the cornerstone of intentional living. Without knowing yourself, your patterns, values, triggers, and aspirations, you remain largely at the mercy of unconscious programming and external influences. Reflection provides the pathway to this crucial self-knowledge. One of the main tenets of living an intentional life is self-awareness, understanding yourself, clarifying why you do what you do, and gaining clarity about what you truly want. These insights enable you to make purposeful choices that align with your authentic values, rather than defaulting to habits or expectations that may not serve your deeper needs and goals. Self-awareness requires practice, beginning with learning to notice subtle aspects of your experience that typically pass beneath conscious awareness. These include monitoring how your emotional state fluctuates throughout the day, observing your thought processes during decision-making, recognizing your automatic reactions to certain situations, and becoming conscious of your habitual patterns of behavior and thinking. Without intentional reflection, it's remarkably easy to operate on autopilot as you move through your daily routines. Days and weeks slip by in the constant motion of life's demands, with busyness becoming the default state that prevents you from pausing to consider where you've been and where you're heading. When you remain caught in this reactive mode, meaningful growth becomes nearly impossible. The practice of reflection isn't merely intuitive or philosophical. Substantial scientific research supports its effectiveness for psychological well-being and personal development. Understanding these evidence-based benefits can strengthen your commitment to establishing a consistent practice. Regular reflection activates and strengthens the brain's executive function networks, enhancing your capacity for metacognition, your ability to think about your own thinking. This heightened metacognitive awareness creates space between stimulus and response, expanding your freedom to choose your reactions rather than being driven by automatic patterns. The Buddha discouraged his followers from continuously rehashing the past or fantasizing about the future, instead urging them to focus mindfully on the present moment. This ancient wisdom aligns with modern neuroscience, which shows that developing a mindful brain helps you remain grounded in the present rather than lost in rumination or anticipation. This present moment awareness naturally diminishes your interest in distractions and superficial pleasures as you discover the richness and freedom available in the now. Self-reflection meditation provides insight into your thoughts and aspirations, allowing you to recognize your feelings, values, and beliefs for what they truly are. This clarity enables more authentic decision-making aligned with your deeper purpose rather than transient external influences or unconscious conditioning. Beyond these neurological benefits, reflection creates several practical advantages that enhance your daily functioning and overall quality of life. Self-reflection prompts you to question and reevaluate your entire belief system, allowing you to reconsider your principles and core values in a non-judgmental manner. Every person operates from a preset value system that guides their life choices, but without reflection, you may inadvertently veer off course from these guiding principles. Regular reflection gives you the opportunity to identify areas where you've blossomed, as well as places where you've deviated from your authentic path. Another significant benefit involves the discovery and utilization of your natural talents. We all possess unique gifts and abilities, but life's busyness often prevents us from recognizing and developing these innate strengths. Regular reflection creates space to identify your distinctive capabilities and consider how you might more fully express them in your daily life and long-term aspirations. Creating an effective reflection practice requires thoughtful consideration of several elements, including timing, environment, tools, and techniques. While the specific form matters less than consistency, certain approaches may better suit your particular temperament and circumstances. The timing of your reflection ritual significantly impacts its quality and sustainability. Morning practices harness the clarity of a mind not yet cluttered by the day's demands, allowing you to set intentions and establish a mindful foundation before engaging with external responsibilities. Evening reflections, by contrast, facilitate integration of the day's experiences and release of accumulated tension before sleep. Experiment with different times to discover when your mind feels most receptive to reflection. Some people find that transitional moments, immediately after waking, during a lunch break, or just before bed, naturally lend themselves to more present awareness. Others create a reflection window between work and home life to facilitate mental and emotional shifting between these domains. While 5-minute reflection requires no special equipment or space, your physical environment can either support or hinder your practice. Consider designating a specific location, perhaps a comfortable chair, a corner of your bedroom, or even your car before entering your workplace, as your reflection spot. Returning to the same physical space helps establish neural associations that make slipping into reflective awareness easier over time. Minimize distractions by silencing notifications, informing others of your need for brief privacy, or choosing naturally quiet times in your household or workplace. Simple environmental cues like lighting a candle, playing soft instrumental music, or simply closing your eyes can signal to your brain that you're entering reflective mode. Various tools can support your reflection practice, with the choice largely depending on your personal preferences and learning style. For written reflection, you might use a notebook by your bed, a dedicated journal, an app on your phone, or even a simple spreadsheet. The specific method matters less than finding an approach that feels accessible and sustainable for your lifestyle. If writing doesn't appeal to you, consider audio recording your reflections, creating simple sketches or diagrams, or practicing purely mental reflection through guided or self-directed contemplation. Some people benefit from external structure, like reflection cards, guided journaling prompts, or meditation apps, while others prefer an unstructured approach that allows spontaneous awareness to emerge. Starting your day with intentional reflection establishes a foundation of presence and purpose that influences everything that follows. These brief morning practices set a conscious tone, rather than immediately surrendering to external demands or digital distractions. Begin your day by clarifying how you wish to show up in the world, rather than just what you need to accomplish. Ask yourself, what quality do I want to embody today? Or, how might I bring my best self to today's circumstances? This intention setting differs fundamentally from task planning, connecting your actions to deeper values and desired identity. You might reflect on specific challenges you anticipate and how you wish to respond to them, or identify one key priority that deserves your fullest attention amid competing demands. This proactive orientation prevents reactive patterns and keeps you anchored to what matters most when distractions inevitably arise. Spend a minute or two acknowledging things you're thankful for, from basic comforts like a warm bed to meaningful relationships or opportunities for growth. This simple practice shifts your brain's reticular activating system toward positive aspects of experience that might otherwise go unrecognized. List 3 specific things you feel grateful for, which could be something as simple as a sunny day or as significant as a meaningful conversation. This brief exercise creates a positive emotional foundation that enhances resilience when facing inevitable challenges throughout your day. Close your eyes and picture yourself moving through key aspects of your upcoming day with presence, wisdom, and skill. Imagine handling anticipated challenges with composure and bringing your full attention to important interactions or tasks. Feel the satisfaction of completing meaningful work or navigating difficult conversations with grace. This future visualization allows you to experience the emotion of accomplishment and confidence before you've even begun your day. Neuroscience research demonstrates that this practice activates many of the same neural pathways that fire during actual achievement, essentially rehearsing success in your mind and making it more likely in reality. Evening reflection rituals provide natural closure to your day, helping you process experiences, integrate lessons, and release lingering tension before sleep. These brief practices transition you from doing mode to being mode, supporting both psychological integration and physical rest. Take a few minutes to scan the events of your day with curious awareness rather than judgment. Notice both external activities and your internal responses to them, considering questions like, when did I feel most engaged today? Or what interactions or activities drained my energy? This practice develops your capacity to recognize patterns in your experience that would otherwise remain unconscious. Pay particular attention to moments when you operated on autopilot versus times when you responded with full awareness. This observation helps you identify triggers that pull you out of presence, building your capacity to recognize and interrupt automatic reactions in real time. Briefly acknowledge steps you've taken, however small, toward meaningful goals or values. This progress noting counteracts the brain's tendency to focus on what remains undone while overlooking actual accomplishments. By registering positive movement, you build motivation through evidence of your capability and commitment. This practice proves especially valuable during challenging periods when visible progress seems minimal. By recognizing subtle shifts in awareness, small behavioral changes, or even simply maintaining commitment despite obstacles, you sustain momentum through difficult passages in your growth journey. Transform difficulties into growth opportunities by briefly reflecting on challenges encountered and what they might be teaching you. Ask yourself, what did this situation reveal about my current edges or limitations? And how might this challenge be serving my development? This reframing converts obstacles from mere frustrations into valuable feedback for your ongoing evolution. This approach builds psychological flexibility, your capacity to adapt constructively to changing circumstances rather than rigidly applying old patterns regardless of their effectiveness. Over time, this flexibility becomes a cornerstone of resilience and continued development across all life domains. Mindfulness-based approaches emphasize direct, non-judgmental awareness of present experience rather than analytical thinking about past or future. These techniques develop your capacity to observe your thoughts, emotions, and sensations with clarity and compassion. One of the simplest yet most powerful reflection practices involves bringing full attention to your breathing for just a few minutes. Try inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, and exhaling for 4, repeating this cycle to release stress and anchor yourself in the present moment. This breathing exercise activates your parasympathetic nervous system, counteracting stress hormones and creating a physiological state conducive to clear reflection. The beauty of breath awareness lies in its portability and immediacy. You can practice it anywhere, anytime, without any external tools or special conditions. This accessibility makes it particularly valuable during challenging moments when you need to quickly center yourself before responding to a situation. Spend a few minutes systematically bringing awareness to different areas of your body, noting sensations without judgment or the need to change anything. Begin with your feet and slowly move upward, pausing briefly at each major body area to register whatever you experience: tension, ease, temperature, tingles, or simply neutral awareness. This practice develops interoceptive awareness, your ability to sense your body's internal state, which research strongly correlates with emotional intelligence and wise decision-making. Your body often registers important information before your conscious mind recognizes it, making this somatic awareness an invaluable dimension of self-knowledge. Choose a single object, sound, or sensation, and give it your complete, undivided attention for a few minutes. Notice details you typically overlook, observing how your perception changes when you bring full presence to ordinary experience. This practice counteracts habitual perception, the tendency to see what you expect rather than what's actually present. Through regular practice of mindful observation, you develop the capacity to perceive yourself and your life circumstances with fresh eyes rather than through the distorting lens of assumptions, projections, or past conditioning. This clarity forms the foundation for authentic choice and meaningful change. Writing externalizes your internal experience, creating valuable perspective and capturing insights that might otherwise remain fleeting. Even brief written reflection offers unique benefits for self-discovery and integration. Specific prompts can focus your reflection and overcome the blank page barrier that sometimes accompanies open-ended journaling. Consider questions like, what am I learning about myself right now? Or, what assumptions am I making that I could question? Or, what went well today and why? These targeted inquiries direct your attention to specific aspects of experience, revealing patterns and connections not previously evident. For self-discovery specifically, try prompts like, when do I feel most authentically myself? Or, what activities make me lose track of time? Or, what values feel non-negotiable to me? These questions illuminate core aspects of your identity and preferences that may be obscured by external expectations or habitual patterns. Different writing approaches serve different purposes in your reflection practice. Structured methods using specific formats or prompts often help overcome initial resistance and provide helpful containment when your thoughts feel scattered. Free-form writing allows your unconscious mind greater expression, sometimes revealing surprising insights or connections not accessible through more directed inquiry. Consider alternating between these approaches, perhaps using structure when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, and allowing more open exploration when you're seeking fresh perspectives or deeper understanding. This flexibility honors different states of mind while maintaining your consistent practice. Periodically reviewing previous reflections reveals valuable patterns and trajectories that might remain invisible from day to day. Set aside time monthly or quarterly to look back through your entries, noticing recurring themes, triggers, and responses. This meta-reflection transforms individual insights into a coherent narrative of your development. Notice both what changes and what remains consistent over time. Certain values or preferences may prove remarkably stable across different circumstances, while reactions or beliefs you once considered fixed may show surprising evolution. This longitudinal perspective enhances your sense of agency in your growth process, revealing how intentional awareness gradually shapes your experience and identity. Not all effective reflection requires writing or formal sitting practice. Verbal and mental approaches provide alternatives that accommodate different learning styles and practical constraints while still fostering deeper self-awareness. Engage different perspectives within yourself through imagined conversation. You might dialogue between your present and future self, your emotional and rational aspects, or your fearful and courageous dimensions. This technique helps integrate different parts of your experience, creating greater internal coherence and reducing conflicting motivations. To practice this approach, mentally identify the perspectives you wish to engage, perhaps even visualizing them as distinct characters sitting across from each other. Allow each perspective to speak fully without interruption from the others, noticing what emerges from this internal conversation that might not arise through more linear reflection. Formulate precise questions that direct your attention toward areas of experience typically overlooked. Questions like, what am I avoiding looking at right now? Or, what would this situation look like from another person's perspective? Create cognitive flexibility and expanded awareness. The quality of your questions largely determines the quality of your insights. Effective questions are open rather than closed, curious rather than judgmental, and exploratory rather than confirming existing beliefs. Developing skill in crafting questions that open new territory represents a valuable meta skill for ongoing self-discovery. Repeat positive affirmations aloud. Statements like, I am resilient, or I am in control of my day, to instill confidence and set a powerful tone. Effective affirmations are present tense, positive, personal, and specific, creating new neural pathways that support your desired identity and experience. While affirmations sometimes receive criticism as magical thinking, research in neuroplasticity confirms that deliberately chosen language patterns gradually reshape your self-concept and perceptual filters. The key lies in selecting affirmations that feel stretching but not utterly disconnected from your current reality. Statements you can believe are at least potentially true. Despite its apparent simplicity, establishing a consistent reflection practice often encounters predictable obstacles. Understanding and preparing for these challenges significantly increases your likelihood of developing a sustainable practice. You may experience internal resistance to reflection due to discomfort with stillness, fear of what might emerge, or simply the pull of seemingly more urgent activities. Rather than fighting this resistance, approach it with curiosity. What part of me is hesitant right now, and what might it be protecting? This compassionate inquiry often dissolves the resistance or reveals important information about your patterns. Remember that resistance itself provides valuable data about your relationship with yourself and your experience. The very areas you resist exploring often contain the richest opportunities for growth and insight, making them worth approaching with gentle persistence rather than avoidance or force. Perfect adherence isn't the goal of a reflection practice. Consistency over time matters far more than unbroken performance. If you miss a day, simply return to your practice the next day without self-judgment or the sense that you've failed. This resilient approach builds a sustainable habit that can weather life's inevitable fluctuations. Consider tracking your practice in a simple, visible way, perhaps a calendar with check marks or a note in your phone. This visual record creates accountability, while also allowing you to notice patterns in your practice, like which days or circumstances make reflection more challenging, enabling proactive strategies for these situations. Any regular activity risks becoming mechanical or superficial through familiarity. Prevent this diminishing engagement by periodically introducing new prompts, techniques, or focal points to your reflection practice. This evolution maintains freshness and prevents the diminishing returns that can accompany over-familiarization. Consider scheduling quarterly reflection resets, where you intentionally review and refresh your approach. Ask yourself what aspects of your practice feel most alive and generative, which elements have become rote or stale, and what new dimensions you might explore to deepen your self-discovery process. Transforming reflection from an occasional activity into a consistent ritual requires more than mere intention. It benefits from strategic application of habit formation principles that increase your odds of long-term integration. Attach your new reflection practice to an already established habit in your daily routine. By identifying a consistent anchor, like finishing breakfast, turning off your car after commuting, or completing your evening hygiene routine, and immediately following it with reflection, you leverage existing neural pathways to establish the new practice. This approach, known as habit stacking, removes the need for decision or specific reminder, making the practice more automatic. The formula is simple. After my existing habit, I will spend 5 minutes reflecting on chosen focus. The stronger and more consistent your anchor habit, the more effectively it will support your new reflection practice. Physical cues in your environment can powerfully support your reflection commitment. Place a special journal visibly on your nightstand, set a recurring alarm with an inspiring label, or create a designated reflection spot in your home that serves no other purpose. These environmental triggers activate your intention at the appropriate time. Consider also removing obstacles that might prevent easy engagement with your practice. If writing helps your reflection, keep a pen and journal always available. If digital tools support your practice, ensure the relevant app remains on your home screen. These small environmental adjustments dramatically increase your odds of consistent practice. The social dimension of commitment significantly enhances consistency for most people. Share your intention to practice daily reflection with a supportive person, join a reflection group, in person or online, or even post about your practice on social media if appropriate. This external accountability often provides crucial support during the early stages of habit formation. Consider also creating internal accountability through a simple tracking system or personal commitment contract. Some find value in setting modest rewards for consistency milestones or creating consequences for extended practice gaps. These structures externalize your commitment, making it more concrete and less vulnerable to momentary preference changes. The seemingly modest investment of 5 daily minutes creates profound effects through the power of consistency and compound impact. Though each individual session may appear small, their cumulative influence generates transformation, far exceeding the sum of separate practices. These brief daily rituals gradually create a ripple effect throughout your entire life. You'll likely notice greater calm, improved focus, and more intentional choices in areas apparently unrelated to your reflection practice. This transfer effect occurs because you're developing metacognitive skills, awareness of your own awareness, that naturally apply across all contexts and situations. Through consistent reflection, you're teaching yourself discipline while simultaneously reinforcing self-respect and inner strength. The practice sends a clear message. Your inner experience deserves attention, and you are worth investing in. This self-valuing stance creates a foundation for authentic motivation that external pressures or fleeting inspiration simply cannot sustain. Living with greater awareness represents the ultimate gift of regular reflection. Rather than being carried along by habits, expectations, or external demands, you develop the capacity to pause, notice, and consciously choose your response to life. This freedom to reflect and intentionally direct your attention and energy constitutes the essence of human potential and fulfillment. The invitation stands before you now. 5 minutes today, 5 minutes tomorrow, creating a pathway to greater self-knowledge, purpose, and presence that extends into every dimension of your life. The practice requires no special equipment, training, or conditions, just your willingness to pause and turn your attention inward. This very moment contains within it the opportunity to begin. If you haven't watched the Breathwork for Enhanced Awareness video on the card on the right, I invite you to watch it too. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please subscribe. If you like the video, please give it a like. Don't forget to share this video with others. We'll see you again tomorrow with a video like this. Until then, stay tuned with Your Motivation University. Have a nice day. Bye.